Emily Thornberry has just said that Labour would reject the government's Brexit deal. And this is very significant for a few key reasons. Firstly, if you remember my video from yesterday, I was saying we have to kill Chequers. We have to kill it with fire. We have to make sure that it cannot sneak through while we are all obsessed with the no-deal Brexit. The danger being that we all hammer on about no-deal Brexit, but Chequers, even though it's flawed, limps through, gets some support from the European Commission with maybe a fudge about the Irish border, but they get to keep the 39 billion, they get to put the country in quarantine, so it's minimum damage to them because they want to avoid no-deal Brexit. And then we have Conservative Party members and even Labour Party members prepared to sign off on this blindfold walking off into a transition zone just for the sake of getting Brexit done and getting it over the line, even though that's highly dangerous. So that was the threat, and the threat was that there were people in Labour who would be prepared to support that. Emily Thornberry being one of them, because just a few weeks back she was indicating that if the Conservative Party came back with the deal, which was just fuzzy heads of terms saying we will have a great deal further down the line, we have this ambition and we have that ambition, then they just might feel the need to sign off on it. Not anymore. Now they are saying they see no viable path forward for the government's Brexit and they will end it. They will stop it. And the reason why they're doing that is not just interest for the country, but also they have some self-interest in this. They see opportunity in this because they think if they reject this and there is sufficient rejection from Conservative rebels, then May is likely to fall if her deal is blocked, and then the government could fall, and then they want a general election. Now, here's where we diverge in terms of what I want and what they're thinking. They want a general election. They think then that they can win it and take over on the Brexit negotiations. And that's as much as they're saying at the moment, but they'll also consider a people's vote. I think that would be fraught with danger for them, because if they're rejecting no-deal Brexit and wanting to go into a general election, yes, they can get an extension from the EU on that, but then they're taking over in exactly the same position as the Conservatives are. They'd have to deal with all the betrayal if they win on it, or they would reject it and have to deal with the betrayal there. They would be in a whole world of problems. Their much, much better route would be to say, we want a general election, and then if they can't get it through Parliament, which is quite likely, to say then immediately we have to have a people's vote. If they have a people's vote, then think about it this way. Parliament would have rejected the government's Brexit plans after 2.5 years of the government's work on it. Then the public could reject the government's Brexit plans and Brexit outright after 2.5 years of work on it. Labour wouldn't have to get involved in too much of the mess. Some of their MPs would be champions on it, but we've also got a ton of other campaigns working on it. Labour could stay almost quite clean of this, and then if Brexit is rejected outright, then the government have been rejected twice, then definitely you've got a general election. The Conservative Party have nothing because this is the only thing they've been doing for 2.5 years, and Labour could say, right, finally, now that Brexit's out the way, let's deal with all the problems that Brexit didn't deal with, but that people wanted to have dealt with. And that would be the housing, the inequality, the NHS, the policing, all of the social problems, including immigration and restructuring and reinvestment, that have not been addressed in the past 2.5 years. That's what I think is the sensible route. It looks like now Labour are making the first strong step towards it with this strong statement that they would reject Theresa May's Brexit deal, and there's no pushback from elsewhere in the Labour Party, so that is good. However, we still need to battle over the next steps, because people's vote shouldn't just be on the table, it should absolutely be the backstop if they can't get their general election. And I think it should then switch to being their priority, because it just works better for them and for the country and for all of us.